what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and this video is going to be a guide overview, a tutorial, I suppose, on how to properly, optimally best swap covenants in Shadowlands. Now we're talking going from Renown 0 to Renown 40. At this point in time, I swapped from Night Fate to Necrolord about a week ago, and I'm about to hit 40 Renown right now, but I will say I could have done this much faster. I chose to go a bit slower, a bit more methodically to see the actual quest line and just basically different ways to optimize your Renown leveling when you join New Covenant. Now, I've scoured the actual internet and cannot find any article or accurate video anywhere on how to actually do this. I think for the most part because people haven't really started swapping different covenants to level to 40 before the next patch and everything. So I wanted to get this video out. We're going to cover the optimal way to grind Renown, the Anima grind, Anima reservoirs, conduits, soulbinds, whatever the question you have, this video should indeed answer it. Big shout out and thank you to Flex and THC, which will also help me further decipher the best optimal way to grind Renown, because there's no information out there. Blizzard said nothing on this. And yeah, we're also going to talk about how to swap back to a covenant you've already, I guess, been a part of as well, which you can do while you're grinding different covenant Renown. It's really odd, but it is what it is. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to swing by stream, hang out, ask them there. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Also, if you have any, you can drop them in the comment section below as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Oh, by the way, before we do that as well, number one, don't want to ask about this picture. I lost a bet, and yeah, it's there. Number two, over half my viewers are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you guys want to see more content and help support it, be sure to smash the subscribe button below. With that being said, now let's get into the video. So as far as swapping covenants goes, if you're going to a covenant that you've not been a part of at all, it's very easy. I am Necrolord right now. This is the actual Venthyr, I guess, emissary right here. All you do is just click 5-6 times confirming that you're absolutely sure 100% you want to join the Venthyr covenant or the Kyrian covenant, whatever covenant you haven't joined, and it will bring you to it. Now keep in mind, you're going to be starting at Renown 0, but that's sort of the reason why we're doing this, at least I am, to have all covenants at 40. You might be swapping because, hey, one was buffed, hey, you want to just play a different covenant, or hey, you want the transmog. I don't blame you. Transmog's real endgame and WoW at this point anyways. But regardless, it's very easy to make the swap to a covenant you have not swapped to before. Now, previously, I was Night Fae. I'm a Necrolord now. So if I go talk to the actual Night Fae emissary here, you'll see that they're sort of pissed off at me. I get it, but this essentially puts you on a quest to run dungeons and do things for the actual covenant to regain their trust. Now, this is technically a 2-week quest line you have to do, but it's not really. So you have to run dungeons and complete activities to fill up a bar. It's sort of like the world quest that you have to kill mobs in. You can just grab this on a Monday night or Tuesday if you're EU, whatever night you have before reset, fill up the bar. The next day, whenever the reset comes around, just go grab the second part of this quest, fill that bar in again, and you're back to that covenant within, 48 hours, give or take. So it's not really anywhere near as much of a grind as you'll make it out to be. I've heard, yeah, but it takes 2 weeks to go back. No, it takes about a day. It takes about probably 3 hours played. It's nowhere near as bad as you think it might be. So keep that in mind. If you want to grind covenants to 40 before the patch comes, it's nowhere near as bad to go back to the one you want optimally later on. And there's also a pretty unique trick you can do with this, which we'll talk about in a little while here as well. Okay, so as far as Anima goes, number one, blue items in your bags, the Anima tokens here, whatever they are, they will indeed stay in your bags. They do not disappear when you swap covenants. A video that I watched previously mentioned they did. That's not true. They will stay in your bags. So if you'd like to pull Anima, let's say if you're a Necrolord and planning on changing to Night Fae or Kyrian or Venthyr or whatever in the next few days, you can pull Anima in your bags like this and then turn it into that new covenant, that new Anima reservoir, to essentially get a bit of a head start on building, whether it be your transport network, whatever, what have you. Number two, the Anima in your covenant's sanctum reservoir Anima container will indeed stay in this covenant when you leave. This one has 2,000 roughly, give or take. If I leave Necrolord and come back, 4 months from now, it will still be there, unless Blizzard does some weird thing between patches where they clear it out. To a similar extent, your buildings, your transport network, your Anima conductor, your command table, and your whatever this thing is for each covenant will also stay at whatever level you make them. They will not reset, they will not go away, which is really awesome. Your actual redeemed souls, these correspond to each individual covenant as well. I left Night Fae with like 120. From what I've heard, they'll be there when I get back, just like the actual Anima. If I leave this with 8, there'll be 8 when I get back. If you want to take this Anima with you, let's say you put in X amount trying to reach level 2 of your Anima conductor and don't get it done before you swap, you can take this with you in a sense. Now, this might be fixed at a certain point. I don't know. For now, it's working. Heads up, I am going to update the comment section of this video, or try to, if things are fixed or things change, so keep an eye on that. The comment should be pinned there. If you want to take that Anima with you, you have to find your Covenant armor vendor. You can buy multiples of these, which cost 100 Anima. Be sure not to buy anything like this that costs these grateful offerings or whatever this is. You can buy 1,000,000 belts from the Necrolords. Then you can take them and bring them to a Venthyr or a Kyrian or a Night Fae vendor. Watch my Anima here, and you can sell them back, and you can transfer that Anima from this Sanctum Reservoir to that other Covenant. Now, like I said, will this last? I don't know. It seems like it's probably not intended, but no one's swapping Covenants now, really. People have just started to grind 40 Renown in different Covenants, and there's no information anywhere out there at all. So that's important. Be sure to check the comment section, see if that stays. Also, your follower table. So you have 2 here. Chroman and Meatball. These are much higher. Chroman and Meatball are universal followers. They both come from Torghast, I believe. They will follow you to every single Covenant you go to, whether it's Kyrian, Night Fae, Venthyr, or Necrolord. I have heard they bug out at times. If you have them out on a mission and don't collect it from a previous Covenant before you swap, so I would recommend having them here if you don't want to lose them in limbo, and I just wouldn't have them out on a mission whenever you choose to finally swap Covenants. These followers here, they will also keep their level whenever you end up, I guess, swapping. They will keep their level. The add-on is Venture Plan, by the way. Venture plan. Everyone's going to ask about it in the comments. It is Venture Plan. There's still going to be a comment asking about it. Either way, it's Venture Plan. These companions will also indeed keep their level. Now, it's very important, I feel personally, to try and min-max them as much as humanly possible in the time you have in that Covenant. If you're trying to get all 4 Covenants to 40 Renown like I am before 9.1 drops, which, to be fair, there's 2 months, but there's not much to do now until PTR hits, be sure to min-max your actual followers on this table. Typically, the campaign missions give a XP token that you can use on a follower to boost it for 2,000 experience. There's none up now, but sometimes experience missions do also indeed pop up. Coming back to a Covenant with having followers at 15, 20 or so is actually pretty relevant. It will help you get through the new Covenant campaign missions as well. Each campaign mission is also individual to each Covenant, so you want to get as far into that as possible before you leave that Covenant. Now, you do indeed have to grind out all your soul mines, but the big thing here is that they're not going to have any conduit slots when you go here. Keep in mind, endurance conduit. Watch my conduit energy. Filling in these slots, even for the initial first time, will consume a conduit energy. So keep that in mind when you're swapping Covenants, because if you want to play a different spec or a different build in the weekend to do keys, you're probably going to have some extra energy laying around if you want to fill in your endurance conduits or your finesse ones, or even your potency ones, for example. Your Covenant specific potency conduit will also not be there. You'll get it from your first soulbind quest at a green level, and then calling boxes have a pretty good chance of giving you one. I got a 200 eye level one. I got 2 of them back to back from a calling box, and then it's dropped from Mythic Denathrius. But regardless, that will not be there either. So learning it will give you 1 energy back, but if you're going to be socketing all your followers here, which is probably advised to save some conduit energy before next, if you go back at some point, I would definitely try and min-max around the actual conduit energy you have in your bags. One more thing, as far as followers are concerned here, there will be a few potentially outside of Torghast. Make sure you visit Torghast when you swap Covenants. Zone in. They will literally be standing outside of the little portals if you have any available. Now, there might be some you have to go into the actual Torghast like wings to do, but I believe I had Gorge Limb and maybe 1 more, maybe this guy, Gorge Limb and Gorge Bone, my man, standing outside of Torghast. 2 free followers. So be sure to check that as well when trying to optimize early on getting into your actual Covenant. Now, as far as the optimal route to take when it comes to leveling your Covenant's Renown, I will say I did not take this initially, and I got punished for it pretty badly. I wanted to unlock Bonesmith for raiding, which I believe was Renown 31 for a gemstone. It wasn't worth it. He's a fine soulbind, but the grind of getting Renown to drop in plus and rating for whatever activities you need for it to drop past 30 is actually miserable. I ran like 15 keys. There was a point where we ran like 11 keys in a row and didn't get a single Renown token to drop. I believe it was 36 to 37. Either way, optimally, what you want to do, You want to grind Renown from 1 to 29 through either dungeons, LFR, raiding. I've heard PvP gives it to you, like battlegrounds, arenas. I cannot confirm that. But dungeons, you can do daily heroics, mythic zeros, mythic plus, raiding, raid bosses, calling boxes. They actually have a chance to give you renown. Now some do and some don't. We've also seen these change. If you gain a renown level, I've heard this has a chance of disappearing as far as the actual reward goes. So if you see one up, I'd do it as soon as possible. Mythic plus, raiding, calling reward boxes, PvP, arenas. What else am I forgetting here? I think that's about it. Calling boxes. I think that's about it for the most part. But the big thing is the renown tokens drop at a much higher rate the lower renown you have. When you get to like 25, 26-ish, it starts to become much more of a pain to grind them out. We did LFR from renown 1. It's like renown 2. We got 9 tokens out of 10 bosses. The one we didn't get was from SLG. It was incredibly easy to get when we went from like 1 to 10. We did LFR again at renown like 32. We got 0 tokens from 10 bosses. We didn't get a single renown token. So early on, what you want to do is grind from 1 to 29, doing just dungeon spam, LFR, normal, heroic, mythic. The same bosses. If you kill Shriekwing on mythic, on LFR, he drops a token for you. He can drop that same token, another renown token, on normal and heroic and mythic. So if you want to optimize it and you can get into a fast raid clear, that is probably technically one of the best ways to do it. As far as farming mythic plus is concerned, I think the fastest way is to actually grind out just 2s. Just spam 2s, spam 3s, spam low keys, because there doesn't seem to be any kind of difference between running higher end content, 15, 16, 17, 18 keys compared to 2s. And as far as 2s are concerned, you can fly through them. You can do mythic zeros, you can do daily heroics with them, but I found 2s and 3s to be faster because there's that essence of, hey, you want to go fast. Even though it's probably under-geared people, they still grasp, hey, it's mythic plus. I spent an hour in a mythic 0 theater of pain. I'm not doing that again. Run 2s, run 3s. Don't waste your time doing higher keys. I've done probably 22s this week, and I've gotten a decent bit of renown from that. Getting to 29 is important. You'll see a list here. 29 is important because the actual Covenant campaign will give you 7 renown, which means you can ride that all the way to 36. And then you have 2 souls quests you can do, the ones that send you into the maw, which we'll cover that more in a minute here, which puts you at 38. You have the world boss you can kill, which should give you 1 renown. Then you have the weekly quest. It gives you 1 for 1,000 Anima. That should give you your final renown token to 40. Now that's not factoring calling boxes that once again can pop up, you know, randomly depending on if they have a token or not. They might be worth doing, but be sure to do them early on. Now I have heard optimally what you want to do. Hit 29, do the world boss, because I've heard the later you go, he has a lesser chance of dropping a renown token. 30 world boss. Do the 7 quests from your campaign. Do the whole campaign. Once you hit 30, that puts you at 37. Do the 1k Anima quest, 38, and then the last 2 soul quests. So these are going to be interesting. They spawn at different points in renown. At times, the 5 soul mission spawns. It actually spawns in this guy right here, if you're a Necrolord, early on. And at times, the 10 soul mission spawns. I think it like renown. Let me see here. I think it's renown. It's like renown 15 or something. I'm trying to find the actual notes here, but they'll spawn early on. You don't want to turn in, you don't want to do or turn in the first one, the one for either 5 souls or 10 souls. You want to hold that because 24 or 32 is the next threshold for the 15 or 20 soul quest. And if you have the 5 or 10 quest still available, that 15 or 20 quest will also spawn, and you can do both of them and turn them both in for renown. But if you do the 5 quest and turn it in, you won't have the 15 or 21 pop until next week. Now, the quest didn't spawn for me when I first got into the Covenant Hall. I had to relog twice for it for the quest to spawn on this guy here. So if it doesn't pop up for you early, just do that. That should work out pretty well for you. And that makes it very simple to grind from 29 to 40. I've run so many dungeons, once again, trying to find the last little bit of renown here, and it's not worth it. Renown drops at a much higher rate the lower you are in the tree, and it's drastically reduced the higher you go RNG wise. So have the campaign, 2 soul quest, world boss, and Anima quest ready to go, and that should push you to 14. Now depending on how much time you put into it, you can probably get this done, I would say, within a few days, 3 days give or take, depending how much time you have left. depending if you're grading that week or not. If you do the soul quest, let's say you're Night Fae, you're capped at Renown 40. If you do the soul quest in Night Fae and the 1k Anima quest in Night Fae as well, joining a new covenant will reset those quests. So you can do them in your previous covenant, or if you're trying to do 2 covenants a week, you can do them as Necrolord. You can do them again as Venthyr if you swap in the same week. So it definitely is worth trying to get at least 1 covenant done and swap to the next one if you're trying to push all 40 before 9.1 within the same week. I went at a much more casual pace, but either way, that is what I've heard and deciphered to be the best optimal route and way to grind Renown to 40. Now, there is one trick you can do here to really make your swap back to the covenants you left much easier. You can sort of skip the 2-week cooldown if you're hopping covenants quickly here. Once again, I half expect this to be fixed or patched. I don't really know at this point. Apparently the quest has a duration on it in your quest log whenever you do it, but when it reaches 0, which is the reset date, it just resets and the same completion is still there. So once again, I'm a Necrolord here. I left the Night Fae covenant. What you can do though, while I'm still grinding Necrolord rep, for example, I can go over here. I can say I want to join the Night Fae. I can pick the quest. This does not mean that I'm leaving Necrolords behind. I'll be on a quest to rejoin the Night Fae people, but at the same time, I'm still a Necrolord. So we can get the first part of this quest done, because remember, keep in mind, this is supposed to be a 2-week quest line. It's not. It takes a day if you do it on the day before reset and then the day of reset. Either way, get the first part of this quest line. You're grinding Renown dungeons. You're going to run some dungeons in Ardenweald or wherever you're going. So you can fill that bar for that quest line here while you're doing the Necrolord Renown. And let's say you're on this quest to go back to Night Fae. You can still drop the Necrolord Covenant and go to Venthyr or go to Kyrian or go to a covenant you haven't been a part of and keep the quest line to go back to Night Fae. So when reset comes around and you're grinding Renown for your 3rd covenant, you can do the second part of the Night Fae quest line. And then when you complete it, you keep it in your bags. So when you finish all 4 covenants, ground out Renown wise, oh, it takes 2 weeks to go back to Night Fae. No, it doesn't, because I had the quest line done for a week and a half. So I would encourage you to do this. I haven't done it myself. Flex pointed it out yesterday, or today, I guess. I don't even know what time it is at this point. It's a 10-head play, so just do it. You might as well do it for the covenants you left, and the ones you assume will be the best one. Have it stored up, have it ready to go. If something happens, you have to just not swap to it. Hey, just go grab a different quest for a different covenant. It's no big deal. But that one trick is probably going to save you a little bit of time grinding back into the Night Fae covenant. As much as I've enjoyed being Necrolord, Night Fae is still best for Warlocks. But yeah, that's it, dudes. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it gave you a better idea and just, I guess, path to take when it comes to grinding out Renown. There is no info that I found anywhere that is accurate, concise, precise, and summarized on how to do this. I assume you're going to be seeing a lot of this happening over the next few weeks and months, because PTR is supposed to be hitting any day now. It's technically Monday at this point, so at some point this week we probably should be in 9.1 PTR, and then hopefully raid testing soon after that. If you have any questions, once again, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you. You can also swing by stream if you want anytime. Feel free to ask any questions there. I'll also be happy to help you there as well. If you guys want to see more WoW content and help support the channel, be sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons below. It helps out a lot. Thanks again, dudes, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.